Hey, I tried. I guess I should have had a better plan.
So, yeah, guys, do you see how real this actually looks? I'm not going to be on camera. Guys, it was a long night. Like I told you, we are still recovering from days at the hospital. But I wanted to bring this to you because I want to get down this rabbit trail of not just, with the third assassination attempt, not just with, pretty much no one believes it. In fact, even Fox viewers, Fox did a poll. 70% of Fox viewers do not believe this assassination attempt is real, right? And so there's a lot coming out. There's a lot of glitches in the footage. It's always glitches. Nothing is ever straightforward. And you don't expect that in a case, but you expect things to just be neater. It just feels sloppy. But this is always what it's been, not just this administration or, just even our country. This is what they do, right? AI, the technology, what we see today is not as advanced as where they really are. Like we are decades behind what they really have. But we also know that all these technocrats and Silicon Valley oligarchs, billionaires, trillionaires almost, that they pretty much have it as a religion right now, an antichrist AI religion led by Peter Thiel. I kid you not, over in the Vatican talking about it. I mean, it is insane. And when I mean it's a religion, it's a religion, like a cult. And of course, we know that is who is pretty much going to be running our world. That's what they want. That is what is happening. Not just a new world order, not just a great reset, but the beast system is coming online. They all believe that there is an ancient demon behind AI, and they said it. People thought it was jokes or they're just saying crazy stuff, but more and more, the veil is being lifted and people's eyes are being opened. Now take a look at this next clip.
Did anyone see this during the alleged assassination attempt on Trump? This dude just casually eating a piece of chicken, but then all of a sudden a fork appears in his hand. Look at right here. Clearly no fork, but then right here, there's a little transition where the fork just kind of appears in his hand now. Then he brings it down and the chicken is now on a fork, when the chicken was clearly right in his fingers. And then there's one more thing right here that just kind of appears in his hand. What is that? There's nothing in his hand, and then all of a sudden, it just appears. There's this clip with Erica Kirk and Dana White.
They were screaming, "Get down!" I didn't get down. It was fucking awesome. I literally took every minute of it in, and it was a pretty crazy, unique experience.
But if you just have a little bit of patience and an eye for this stuff, then you'll realize that none of this is actually real. Look at his face right here, how it just makes this hard right angle on his cheek. And the light is just phasing right through his cheek. Then look up here. You see this hard right angle also, where his skin just kind of takes on the shape of this line behind him? And then there's one more right here. You see this one right here? The little indent in his head, and you can see the wall behind it. You see, the reason why we're allowed to talk about the conspiracy behind this, how it might have been staged or whatever, is because they don't care whether you think it really happened or if it was staged, because it's still masking the fact that it's just not real and it's AI. It's like pretty much every other conspiracy. They don't care how you look at this thing as long as you're not looking at it as entirely fake.
So before I play the next clip with the same guy, it's just, some people can say it's, compression and pixelation and all of that. I have been filming for 10 years. I interned for National Geographic. Actually, I was a production assistant on different sets. Like I I've never seen what they're talking about. Things appearing and then disappearing, or hard angles or holes, and none of it makes sense. It's much like the Artemis, you know, that satanic ritual. Artemis, all of the AI with that, how ridiculous it is. And of course, it's dying down now. But those of us who know, who have eyes to see, have known these things. I mean, it was honestly a gift for them to actually come out with that laughable footage. It just proved the point for many of us that don't believe the moon landing is real. And yes, now the majority of Americans, according to the polls, if you believe polls, but I do think this one is real. The majority of Americans do not believe the moon landing was real. So if that wasn't real, well, is anything real? And I've told you now, our entire history is a lie. And that's why you have to look at these things like removed from it. That's why I'm not doing politics. I'm not getting into the back and forth. It's all the same. It's all leading to the final point, guys. We are in the last days. But this is why the truth is being revealed to the masses. But it's up to each individual if they are going to wake up and see that none of this is normal, none of it's ever been real, and that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, that we are in a spiritual battle for our lives.
You want to see proof that you don't know what's real and you haven't for a long time? And you've been getting fooled by fake videos for far longer than you're aware of.
A furlough there when COVID hit in March.
So first I want you to look at how many views in 4 years ago.
On August 14th.
Now look up here. Watch his foot.
I believe I got hired. Yes.
Watch the foot.
August 14th, correct? I believe.
So this was something that was a big deal on mainstream news, the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Look at his foot. Was the Kyle Rittenhouse trial a big deal? Yes, the Kyle Rittenhouse trial was a major national and political event that captured America's attention. Like, look at this. This is the original video. And if you watch the rest of the video, then yeah, it looks real and believable. AI was created and perfected a long time ago. They've been using it on us for major news. And a lot of you still just can't grasp the fact that everything they're showing us currently is not real and not happening. And the saddest part about this is that most people are gonna look at something like this and be like, what do you mean? It's obviously real. Like, yeah, no shit, that's the whole point. And how do they inform the other elites in the world and the world leaders without actually telling them? Just like that. The only reason why bad AI videos exist, like videos you can clearly tell that it's AI, is to make you think that AI is still detectable. The bad AI, the stuff that we have access to, masks the real AI.
So yeah. I mean, is any of this conspiracy theory anymore? Look at just the Epstein files. I really feel as though the Epstein files is what really set the alarm bells for most people. People who, maybe you've seen some conspiracies, maybe you believe a couple, or maybe you just dismiss them all. They're just tinfoil, right? Conspiracy theory. That term was coined by the CIA to demonize people asking questions, speaking truth, seeing things do not add up. And as you look through our history and the history books, none of it does. Getting back to the original guy that was eating his dinner, right? Well, of course, now the news running cover and they're saying who this guy is. Take a listen to who it is.
Almost everyone else ducked for cover. This guy kept eating his salad, and now many people online are fascinated by his seemingly calm response. Turns out it's Michael Glantz with Creative Artists Agency, who's known as a super agent in the TV news industry. He represents people like CNN's Wolf Blitzer and Christiane Amanpour. He told White House Correspondents Insider he wasn't scared at all and didn't want to miss the show. So why didn't Glantz get on the floor like most everyone else? According to him, he's a hygiene freak who has a bad back. A video of the moment on X now has more than 10 million views. A colleague of his even replied to one of the viral posts, quote, "Cool under pressure, well-nourished, and making us proud." CNN has reached out to Glantz for comment.
So he's Hollywood. He's Hollywood. Hollywood was in the room. And guys, there's no difference between movie, the movie industry, television industry, the news industry. All of it is mixed together. So Hollywood, lights, camera, action. So that, guys, will we ever know if it was real? Will we ever know if it was AI? No. We're just looking at this just to see the chaos, the circus, what is happening in these last days. You have to come out. Like I said, I keep telling people, stop looking with the micro lens. Like if you were standing in a forest, all you would see all around you is trees. Everything will be bigger than you. You couldn't really see that far. You wouldn't know what was around. You wouldn't know which way to go. At least I wouldn't, because I am not an outdoors person by any stretch of the imagination. But that's the micro view. Now imagine you raised up like to the clouds. Somewhat like like you're in a helicopter, a plane, you're just the God's view, God's eye view. And you're above the force, you're above all of, and you can see. Now, think about how God sees the world and how all these pieces are coming into place. And see, this is why you don't have to worry. Yes, I report on what's going on. We talk about it, we unpack it. I relate it to biblical prophecy when I can, but at the same time, the main goal is to wake people up. Everything is a deception. If the news is pushing it, if they're talking about it, if they're all now agreeing with everything, really? Now, this just came out. This is the Cole Allen, which you guys know there's a deep rabbit hole with him. And so we have this picture, but is it AI? Is it real? Now the reports are saying he did not fire his weapon, that the only law enforcement did, Secret Service, and that it was friendly fire that shot the other officer. That's the reports that's coming out. We have to wait for the final. But again, who's reporting that? The controlled opposition. One news says this, the other says that, and it's all to create confusion. And that's why we've got to continue this work. Because if you just listen to, again, even if you don't listen to the news, even if you just listen to podcasters and all of that, most people are not seeing the spiritual side of this and just what this all means. We are entering a period of time, a historic period of time. And I'm not saying that just as a Christian and Jesus coming back and all of that. No, experts are saying this. They're ringing the alarm. The news isn't covering that. We're covering this, which has no meaning in our lives. But again, I want to talk about it because we have to explore the angles in this so that we can get to the truth. Because why is the truth important? Well, the truth will set you free.
Photos of the suspected White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting suspect. This is Cole Allen, allegedly a selfie that he took just before the incident happened at the Washington Hilton Hotel on Saturday night. Those highlights showing guns and knives that he had on his body before making his way down 10 flights of stairs and breaching a security checkpoint. New court documents just filed right now revealing a lot of new information about the incident, including after Cole Allen checked into that Washington Hilton the day before the event. He actually mocked the security and how lax it was in that area, saying, quote, an Iranian agent could have brought in a bleep weapon into the building. There's also some evidence that we're seeing from his parents' home, a search of that residence in California, recovering a training pistol, a Mossberg buttstock, additional long gun bags. Again, these are new photos of Cole Allen.
Sorry, I can never know when to stop this thing. But is this convenient? He's mocking security right as this is going on. He decides to post that. Right, really? And then he's talking about an Iranian, like someone from Iran could have gotten in and breached the place, guys. It's so on the nose. And then when you look at the coordinated effort, all of these dozens of influencer accounts all posting about the ballroom right after this. They aren't even trying to hide it. They don't care. I've told you this. This is why you can't care. You cannot invest emotionally. They want to harvest your energy. They want you to be in fear. But all these people talking about the ballroom. Now legislation is being brought for the ballroom. Rand Paul is bringing a bill. Lindsey Graham is saying we're going to pay for it now. When previously, this is what was said.
Republican senators are pushing to use federal funds for the construction of a White House ballroom. The senators are citing increased threats following Saturday's shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The construction project is expected to cost $400 million.
Trump's Ballroom.
Dude, I've heard some conspiracies about this.
Yeah, and the kicker, Trump is not using taxpayer money. He has some donors.
Ooh.
You ready for these donors?
I guess.
Google, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Lockheed Martin, Palantir,
Typical.
T-Mobile.
One of these
Sponsored
things
by
is not
T-Mobile.
like the other. Yeah.
Here's where it gets weird. Now it's going to be over $300 million for this 90,000 square foot ballroom. $3,330 a square foot. Way outside the standard of what you pay per square foot for a building.
So what are they spending so much money on?
A theory is that they're building an underground database center.
Yeah, there you go.
A couple years ago, Israel built a underground data center. They paid $319 million for this.
That's got to be it.
So this ballroom is costing about the same as what this data center cost in Jerusalem.
But not nearly as big.
Well, that's just the surface.
Yeah.
Because they're just building a ballroom.
Yeah.
But what's going to be underneath?
And why are all these people interested in investing in it?
They would all invest because they don't want to be excluded.
Oh my gosh, bro.
In 2008, when everyone was telling me to get rid of my MySpace and to get a Facebook, I was right. I should have stuck with MySpace.
Who made MySpace?
Tom. The legend.
You don't know Tom?
MySpace Tom?
I didn't have a MySpace.
No.
You know how young I am?
So this is where the confusion comes from. What happened to the $400 million that was going to be paid by all of these private companies and donors? So then why is it now legislation, a bill for us to spend $400 million? Is it $400 million? This is where I think I'm getting it. Because Lindsey Graham was talking about military, there's going to be a military installation under there, Secret Service, going to be all this stuff, right? So are private donors not allowed to pay for that? So the $400 million is for what's going to be underground, but that taxpayers are going to spend money on, which Lindsey Graham said, the cost of this, get this, is going to be offset by customs fees. What customs fees? We're not even getting the tariff refund. We paid for the tariffs, but these companies are now getting refunded billions in tariff money. Prices were raised up, so we had to pay for it. Prices aren't going to go back down. And now they are getting a boost, these corporations. Is this not wild? And it's just all out in the open. They don't care. Why do we need all these AI data centers? I have told you. Digital ID. Digital ID is not the mark of the beast. It is the mark of the beast system, right? The mark of the beast, during tribulation, those who are here during tribulation, you will know. You have to take this mark of the beast and worship the Antichrist. This isn't something they can trick you into. You have to make a conscious choice, right? So digital ID on your phone, biometric things. Is it invasive? Is it, them collecting data? Is it part of the police state, the surveillance state, the beast state that Palantir and all these companies are creating? The report I just did on Ford? Yes, they're all creating this. It's all part of it. Neuralink is a control mechanism because they have said they want collective consciousness after they depopulate through war and famine and pandemics, or what the Bible calls pestilence. Yeah, same as pandemics. And they've all said it. But these data centers, it makes no economic sense. We have no real need for it unless they need to keep your entire life, the entire world in these things. And they need them multiple places. And it's all coming at us rapidly, like overnight. And if you are not rooted and grounded in the word of God, if you not understand that the Bible said the world will not get better, it will get worse, that Satan is the little g God of this world, the prince of the air. If you don't understand that Satan himself took Jesus to the highest mountain to tempt him and said he will give Jesus, this is what Satan says to Jesus, I will give you the kingdoms on earth if you worship him, if he worshiped him. They were Satan's to give, and they still are. And once you realize that, and once you realize that the enemy, the great deceiver, Satan himself, once you realize the level of deception is almost incomprehensible to most people. It is to me. The further I keep going, our history, I will always bring up the world fairs because I think it's an easy one for people to see. The construction of these buildings, craftsmanship, horse and buggy, hammer and chisel, all of these buildings. Look at the Nebraska Capitol building. Marvels of engineering in the middle of nowhere. Random settlers. Where'd they get all the marble and materials and things? How'd they build these things? Usually, most of these things they say were built in less than 2 years. Or some like Yankee Stadium in less than 10 months. Really? The Statue of Liberty, Lady Liberty. Have you seen the little G, the little Mason G on it? And almost on all of our statues. The Capitol building, which is the womb of Ishtar. Have you ever thought of who's the District of Columbia? It's not Christopher Columbus. We've gone over that. So the more you see the lies, the more truth is revealed, the more peace you will have. And when the disciples asked Jesus, what should we do? Jesus was talking about the end of the world. He was talking about the end of the earth and his return. And they said, in fact, let me show you. And then I have another clip I want to play. Luke 21. Now, this is Jesus directly talking about the destruction of the temple. We're talking about the temple and the ballroom and the signs of the end times. All right. Look at what they asked the disciples say to Jesus. He's talking about all these things, wars and rumors of wars. Nation will rise against nation. And he's talking about all these things that will take place before he returns. Times we are in right now. When you combine the fact that we now have the technology and capability to implement the B system and they can control us. That's why it's rolling out. Everything is wrapped up and is ready to go. Plus they see the signs and wonders in the sun, moon, and stars. They know Jesus Christ is returning. This is why they're doing alien disclosure. We have members of Congress telling us that underground military installations, there we go, underground again. Everything's underground. Whole cities are underground, if you don't know. But in underground military installations, they are breeding aliens and humans. They're not aliens. They're fallen angels, Nephilim, demonic beings. But they've always made it with humans. That's actually how Nephilim came about. The Watchers, the angels of men and the daughters of man. They literally lusted after women on earth. It's really like that's they lusted so much they decided to rebel. And that's how Nephilim, that's what the Bible says, how we got Nephilim. These demonic hybrid human demon creatures. That's how we got giants. And these things would actually mate with animals. That you see in ancient carvings and depictions, these things that have human faces and a body of a lion, the Sphinx, all those things were real creatures. These were not, this wasn't fantasy as they've tried to tell us. But continuing. So they're asking, teacher, they ask, when will these things happen and what will be the sign that they are about to take place? Look at the first thing Jesus says about these times. Watch out that you are not deceived. Not just by a false prophet, not just by false doctrine. No, be deceived by the government, be deceived by the psyops, be deceived by history, be deceived that this war is real. They're hitting energy infrastructure on purpose in order to create an energy lockdown. Famine, all of this is coming. 70% of U.S. farmers do not have the fertilizer they need to grow crops. So coming harvest time fall, and going into 2027, do you understand what that means? Gas, all these, it's going to make the COVID lockdowns look like child's play. But do not be deceived. This is his first instruction during these times. And that is why this is important. This is why this is important. Because no man knows the day or hour, but just as Jesus is talking about all the things and signs that he's going to be returning, he then goes and talks about knowing the season in this parable about the fig tree and the leaves falling off. So no man knows the day or hour, But Jesus himself told us we would know the season. And this is why you have to read the Bible in context and not cherry pick it. This is why this is important. Now, let me take you back to what I want to play.
Is Trump building the third temple? So did you know that this 90,000 square foot ballroom at the White House might be more than just luxury? People online are talking about the architecture and the symbolism behind the third temple, and the Bible warns us about what that can mean. So let's talk about it. The White House is building a massive ballroom. Some people call it the Ballroom. 90,000 square feet, seating 650 to 900 people, an estimation of 2 to 300 million, and it's privately funded. Some people are watching and speculating, could this addition actually have the patterns and functions of the biblically prophesied third temple? In Jewish and Christian end times thought, the rebuilding of the temple is symbolic in Jerusalem as a key event. But people are also saying, who's to say that Jerusalem really is Jerusalem? Meaning that, you know how deceptive the devil can be, who's to say where the third temple was really going to be built? So in the Bible, we read about the context of the third temple. In prophetic context, for example, prophetic visions in Ezekiel chapters 40 through 42 describes a future temple. And some sources note that the time will come when the prince who is to come will sit in the temple of God, and he will tell people that he is God. But there's a site called Amazing Facts, and it warns that there's no definite command in Scripture that says the physical new temple must be built before Christ's return. Yet the symbolism and expectation continues. So when you see a massive temple-like architecture rising, we should examine it spiritually. What do you guys think about this? I want to know. Comment below. And look at that size, huge and privately funded. Come on, what do you think? Are we witnessing something biblical happening right now? Are we in the book of Revelation? It doesn't matter. There's no fear. As a believer in Jesus Christ, we know the things to come, and we laugh at destruction and famine just like God. We're not worried about it. If you see something shifting in culture, make sure that you look to Jesus Christ, pray for discernment, and I'll see you in the next video.
So this is the time that we're living in, and not even getting into, guys, you know, my updates that I give on the third temple over in Jerusalem, what's going on with the Temple Mount there. You know, we haven't got as much information lately, but we know everything was ready. Everything was completely done. And then once everything was wrapped up, suddenly this war came about. Right. So, guys, one of the ways you can help support the work I have over here, just given this perspective, a biblical perspective, when I can, waking people up to the last days, is by going to realmelanieking.com. This is my Christian collection. Over here, I have things for men and women. You guys know I also have my conspiracy theory one. I have all these different designs, but I always like to show this one. You guys are loving this one. And I have different versions of it, one with Jesus on it. But this one says, normal isn't coming back. Jesus is. So there's a cross in the back. And again, I have for men and women. That's realmelanieking.com. Now, another way that you can support is to donate to the ministry here. That link is on my website. But all the ways that you can donate and support this work, get the truth out, and just, you know, help people not live in fear. You got to still live your life. You got to go to work. You got kids. You got bills. You have life to live, and you continue to live it. But, you know, all you need is the faith of the mustard seed. Faith and fear can exist at the same time. Guys, fear is an emotion. It is not a sin to act in fear and live in fear. Yes, to not walk by faith is sin. But you can have fear. But you just need a tiny little mustard seed, and that's enough to grow. And that is why I'm doing this work. So again, the links will be below, and I will see you on the next one.